Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. And as you can see over here, my camera is still messed up. I have found out that that is possible to fix. I just have to get together with a person and take care of that. So I'm going to minimize and tuck it in the corner. This is freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer. My name is Donald Patak. There's my contact information, standard YouTube copyright, keys to the reading. I read astrology differently. Tropical astrology reads the signs fixed to seasons, and I do astrology based on the visible sky because in ancient times, astrologers were astronomers. So they were saying, well, this is the constellation where the planet is, this is what it means. So it's constellation-based astrology, sometimes called true sidereal. But I'm telling you where the planets are as an astronomer would see them and then giving you the interpretation. And with that, in the zodiac belt, there are 13 signs. Between Scorpio and Sagittarius, there is a 13th sign called Ophiuchus. It's a symbol of a person holding a snake by the head and the tail. Snake in ancient times symbolized knowledge. So the story of Ophiuchus was learn this knowledge to heal himself so he could heal others with similar wounds. So it's the sign of the wounded healer. I do use the natural size of the constellations, and you'll notice this especially in the moon readings. Constellations, Mother Nature in her wisdom made them all different sizes. So Virgo in all her glory is just under 50 degrees, but Aries, Cancer, Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus, each less than 25. So all the constellations, all different sizes, and I respect that. And the IAU, I use astrological midpoints because the IAU boundaries are arbitrarily drawn. Athan Shimenti brought this up when I was being trained by him and watching his videos, when he zoomed in on the border of Scorpio and Ophiuchus to check out the stars and see what their names were, and he noticed stars from Scorpio in the IAU boundary of Ophiuchus. So he looked at the zodiac belt, found the last bright star Scorpio, first bright star of Ophiuchus, found the midpoint, and then went around the zodiac belt and did that with all the signs. So I do use a slightly different midpoints. It's a point system to determine the borders, or the cusps. It works nice for me. I like it. Keys to reading part 2. I interpret using evolutionary astrology, which means these are lessons to learn. The infinite, whatever you happen to believe in, says, look, here's a lesson. You can learn it or not. You have freedom of choice. There's an ideal, there's a shadow. You can choose which one you want to learn, and you can always change. This is the weekly edition, so this is transiting to transiting planets, so it's the universal lessons for all the people on this planet. So do have a little compassion on your fellow Earth travelers. Dates and times are based on the Eastern U.S. time zone because I do live outside of Buffalo, New York. I'm operating within 1 degree of exact, so that keeps it manageable. Otherwise, I'd be overwhelmed, you'd be lost. And the software I use to help me map all this out is Capricorn by Prometheus. And these are the transits for the week of September 1st through 7th, 2025. Yeah, this is getting out a little late. It's been a long weekend, computer problems, and cat troubles. So the sun is in Leo still. We're still working through Leo season. The moon, actually, this is more active than it looks because the moon begins Monday in Ophiuchus, but by the afternoon, I believe it's in Sagittarius. And then Pisces, it doesn't enter into Pisces. Moon doesn't enter Pisces until way late at night here on Sunday night in Western New York. So it's really more of a Sagittarius through Aquarius experience. So a little less busy than it sounds. It's just this is the way the ball bounced. And on Sunday, we have the full moon eclipse in Aquarius, and that will be exact at 14:21 Eastern time or 2:21 for those people who don't speak military time. Not a lot of activity in the sky, new planets or new transits. So our 2 new transits this week are Mercury and Mars. And in our longer transits, because the outer planets are putting their foot down and say, we got something to show you. Key planets here, Uranus and Jupiter, are really the 2 ones that are making it big this week. And in the retrograde parade, we have a lot of planets. Saturn, Uranus, brand new this week. We will have Uranus moving retrograde. We'll talk about that. Neptune, Pluton, and the asteroid Chiron are all currently retrograde. So yeah, wow. Hold on a second. So this is our week in an overview. And as you can see, Monday afternoon, we'll start here with the moon. And you can see Monday, Tuesday, Monday afternoon-ish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. We're in the sign of, the moon will be in the sign of Sagittarius. So really the first half of the week is relatively stable. And then Thursday into Friday, it's in Capricorn. Saturday into Sunday evening, it's in Aquarius. So the moon is much more stable than what that previous slide described. It's bookended by two quick transits. And let me get my doodle tool going now. If you see this dotted line right here, these are above this is the transits from the last week. And as you can see, there's a lot. Why? The outer planets. We have Jupiter with the nodes and Uranus with with Neptune and Pluto, and we have the double whammy of Neptune and Pluto as well, taking its sweet old time going, because it's going to. Energy for the week, the two new transits, we have squares. These are challenges that are designed, to strengthen you. So the two transits of Mercury and Mars are challenges, but the purpose, make you stronger, help you work through the challenge to beef you up a little bit. We do have Uranus moving retrograde starting on Friday, and it ends on Sunday when it'll be fully retrograde. So it's kind of a pause here. You might feel a little stuck in your individuality and authenticity. It's just moving from lessons being external to being more internal and private and more reflective. And as you can see here on Sunday, we do have the eclipse. And one other little change, I forgot to put this on, it's in my notes. Again, we do have one sign change. On Saturday, Venus does enter Leo. So Venus and Leo, hey, standing up and being seen. We'll talk about that. Let me clear this all out and close that out. Get my notes ready. Oops, sorry. And we begin with Neptune and Pluto. Let me find this in my notes. Neptune sextiling Pluto. And the lesson here, and this is going to go on through, started in June and it's going to end in October. That's the current forecast. But this is your spirituality, creating an interest in that transformation and doing the work of transformation. Now, Neptune in Pisces is very specific about one thing. Don't just do something. Sit there. It's learning to be present. Often we're in the future or in the past. And one of the key lessons of spirituality and your spirituality is to learn to be in this moment, because that's the only time that you really have any control. So it's learning to be present, and how, when you're present, this helps to create an interest and excitement and helps you do the work of inner transformation and healing. And this can help with doing that inner work. It can help with recovering lost energies. I know it's also say recovery of the soul. And seeing this transformation also from a higher perspective can help you complete the work. Now, the shadow here is Neptune and Pisces can get lost in illusion, delusion, confusion, name your whatever. It can get lost and caught up in a fantasy, escapism. And when that happens, instead of doing the work of healing, Pluto falls into deep wounding, cynicism, nihilism, feelings of emptiness, serious defeatism. And that's in Capricorn, and that just feeds the defeatism. That's a control freak mentality and can't do anything right because everything's wrong. And so falling for these illusions and just trying to numb and escape the pain of life will just leads to deeper wounding. And we have Uranus sextiling Neptune. Let me find that here. And again, Uranus, there we go. Uranus sextiling Neptune. You remember, Uranus is the planet of individuality and authenticity. And in Taurus, you're learning to be peace with who you are and finding the strength of being who you really are. Sextile is creating excitement. And what's this helping you with? When you learn who you really are, you learn about your own spirituality, not somebody else's path, but your own path. So this, you learning to be at peace with who you really are, helps to stabilize and help you with your spirituality, learns to help you be in that present moment and respond in that present moment. Um, and it can help with your spiritual practices as well and help you to find the unity and peace that exists at higher levels. So that's really cool. The shadow here, Uranus, is if you're not being yourself, you're being somebody else. It may be that eccentric or the sellout. And that's the shadow of Taurus is either being lazy, just the easier thing to do, or you're the bull in the china shop and you're just looking to make a mess any way you can. And Neptune and Pisces, we talked about the shadow there of escapism in fantasy any way possible. So with that, giving up your individuality can lead you to the life of emptiness and have you feeling isolated, alone, and lost. And basically what you're doing is living an illusion. Okay. And we also have Uranus trine Pluto. So you learning to find the peace and strength who you are helps to support the work of inner healing and inner transformation. And the deeper work there, and realizing your core self can help you do the work of recovering your soul, claiming lost energy. That's one of the things when I've been digging into Pluto a little bit. Transiting Pluto is about the recovery of the soul. Different ways of, I'm reading different things that talk about that now. Kind of interesting. But that's doing that deep inner healing, deep inner transformation, recovery of life's energy. The shadow, when you're not being who you really are, it just leads to deeper wounding, cynicism, nihilism, and emptiness. And it can lead to power trips that just make a bigger mess and further the feelings of loneliness and isolation. And furthermore, we have, where is that? Still going, we have this Jupiter in Gemini. The opportunity to learn, opportunity to communicate is trining the North Node in Aquarius. North Node is your destiny or purpose in life. So key one here is understanding what it is in your birth chart. And then part two, the North Node in Aquarius is making it authentic to who you really are and finding your own journey and your own way in it. So having the opportunity to find the insights that you need to become more of who you really are. And the shadow of that is Jupiter is a crisis in confidence. And it's either overconfident or underconfident. In Gemini, it's either a know-it-all or you can't learn. Gemini can also be that person that just talks forever without saying anything, or it can be that person who knows the correct answer but won't say anything. And the trine makes just a big mess of what your destiny, and instead of you following your own destiny, you're doing somebody else's. Oh, this is the latest fad, I've got to do that, or this is what I really believe it is, no matter what the information says, so I got to follow this rigidly. So yeah, being underconfident takes you away from your life's purpose and puts a wrong image on it. You can actually come across as fake. That's the fake journey. Yeah, this thing does that. Okay, that is actually going to be exact on the 3rd. It's kind of interesting. School starts this week. And also from last week, a hangover that we have, or a holdover we have, is Jupiter and Gemini sextiling the South Node. We talked about Jupiter and Gemini already, opportunity to learn. The South Node is how you hold yourself back in Leo with pointless, useless, meaningless drama. So what you're gaining insights and information that points out how you hold yourself back in that way. Doesn't mean you have to act out that way. No, you're gaining awareness of it. The journey of the South Node is how you hold yourself back. And now you're becoming aware of how you do it. And you're seeing it in the public realm and saying, oh, wow, I can change this. If there's a key lesson of this part of this transit is that you're getting information and insights to help you become more aware so that you can make the changes so you stop doing it. The shadow here is, again, that crisis of confidence, and it feeds the worst parts of failure. Literally, it's what it is. And you're just reliving the past. Is literally what you're doing, just reliving the past in a worse way. And finally, we have, where is that? Ending this week, this began actually yesterday, Mercury in Leo trining Chiron retrograde in Pisces. Mercury in Leo is sharing insights publicly, whether it's speaking or writing or however you share your information. It can also be learning how to speak, doing public speaking. Actually, that I was talking with someone and they're like, yeah, that actually fits, that shoe actually fits me better, because they were invited to join Toastmasters. So it can be learning how to speak publicly or present yourself publicly. And the trine supports what? The journey of healing. And this is in Pisces, this is spiritual healing. You're understanding your wounds from a higher perspective. So this is helping you to understand that and do that. And it's more reflective, saying, why did I do this? Oh, this is why this happened. I understand it so that I can, and now walk through that. And it can also be sharing your healing journey publicly. And by doing that, you heal yourself. You can also help others heal in a way. The shadow is that mental rigidity. A shadow of Mercury is that know-it-all or can't learn it all. It's just stuck in this mental rut. And in Leo, it can come across as childish and egocentric. And whether it's that temper tantrum that shouts out in the world, or it's that kid that wants to hide away. Think of the dark star, the cowardly lion that doesn't want to be seen. Doing that does what? Reinforces the wounds of the past. And you're living in the fantasy that those wounds can't be healed. And on Monday, the moon enters, all right, we also have from Sunday, the moon entering Ophiuchus. So this is healing wounds, healing the emotional self. Again, some more reading that says the moon is also the journey of the soul, or can reflect the soul, because it is your emotional self. So, but this is healing your emotional self and doing that. So open up the opportunity to healing emotionally, letting healers and others work with you who can, they can be wounded and have a similar journey to yours and help you on your journey. The shadow is refusing to heal and whining and wounding yourselves and possibly wounding others. And that leads us into Monday, where the moon enters Sagittarius. And you can choose something new and looking for ideas that are emotionally inspiring and uplifting and something that gives you hope for the future. So be open to new ideas and opportunities that may appear. So this is being open to these these different insights or new information. And difference between Gemini and Sagittarius, I was asked somebody about this. Gemini to me is going to the library and reading about, name your museum, name your historical site. Sagittarius is let's go visit that place and experience it out in the real world. So if Sagittarius is real world, getting up, going out in the real world and doing something that way. The shadow is falling and defending into the status quo because it's all you know. And this keeps you feeling and stuck in an unfulfilling path. Tuesday, our busy day of the week-ish, or our first busy day of the week. Mercury in Leo is squaring Uranus in Taurus, and this is a relatively quick transit. I'm going to start with that square because the purpose of a square is to strengthen you. It's a challenge that strengthens you. You only build up muscle when you keep picking up heavier weights. So this is a challenge that's designed to strengthen you and push your muscles a little bit. In this case, it's your mental muscles. Mercury in Leo. And we said this is you sharing, sharing what you know publicly. Or learning or doing that, learning how, public speaking or whatever, or sharing your knowledge. So there's that. And what is that strengthening? Working through this properly strengthens your individuality and authenticity and helps you find the peace in that and the strength that comes from that. And it helps you learn more about who you are as a person and the peace that comes from being that. Now, the shadow here, I'm going to jump back to that square. Instead of it strengthening you, it's a crushing burden. They say, pressure builds, that makes diamonds. Well, in this case, somebody put that lump of coal in there and it just got turned into powder. That mental rigidity, which is, I know it all and you can't teach me anything, and being a jerk in public that way, or that person who doesn't want to share what they know and tries to hide away, sabotages the authenticity. It makes you less than who you really are. And you're either acting out as an eccentric or selling out to fit in, And it leaves you caught in this mental maze of words and loss of identity. And there's no peace, there's no strength. And I'm kind of thinking that know-it-all is acting out as that bull in the china shop thing. The other transit, and this is our long transit for the week, it starts on the 2nd and actually goes all the way to Sunday-ish, really early Sunday morning actually, is Mars in Virgo squaring Jupiter in Gemini. Mercury, Gemini, Jupiter's really getting acted on this week. And again, this is to strengthen you. And this is Mars in Virgo is having the courage to get better. Ideally, the aim of Virgo is improvement and making those plans and preparing and taking those actions to get better. So it's having that courage, and having the courage to get better can help you provide and strengthen the opportunity to learn. And it can also help you become a better version of yourself. So when you do have that courage to learn, it can help you improve and become that and learn more about that. The shadow here, Mars falls into fear, and the fear can come out as anger or cowardice. And in Virgo, it's perfectionism, an unrealistic standard or expectation. Something that's actually unachievable. And that falling into fear can result in pointless drama, more pointless drama. Hold on a second. Yeah, that victim or bully dramas. And being that know-it-all or someone who can't learn, you're settling for glitter over gold. And it's a lot of work over something that really has no value, as again, what I have in my notes here. So that crisis, that fear, falling into the fear, creates this crisis in confidence, and it has you settling for less than what's possible, because we all know perfection's unattainable. And on Wednesday, first day of school at the district where I work, take a breath, remember to exhale, repeat. Yay. Thursday, afternoonish, if I remember correctly, in Eastern time zone anyways, the moon enters Capricorn. Emotionally, you're ready to get up and do some work. Time to get stuff done and take action. Make a commitment, and practicing self-discipline leads you towards success. Yeah, we'll be conjunct Pluto, so there'll be some work on that inner transformation, but overall, you're ready to roll up the sleeves and get down to work. You're ready for that. The shadow is slipping into a dark mood with Pluto. It gets really dark. And trying to control everyone and everything, it can leave you feeling alone and isolated. Friday, Uranus moves retrograde in Taurus. So this is going to be a time you may feel a little stuck. It's a pause. It's like you're playing a CD or an MP3. Or for those of us who remember cassettes, pressing the pause button on the cassette player. Those are supposed to be making a comeback. I still have some. Oh well. But you're taking a pause on the journey of becoming more of who you are, and you're reflecting. Am I who I really am? Am I who I really believe I am? Am I finding the peace that comes from that? Am I finding that strength? So reflect on that journey. And are you finding freedom in that as well? Because when you are who you really are, what are they doing with? When you're finding that freedom and being with who you really are, you find peace. Sorry about that. My one kitten was getting bullied again. I kind of the runt of the litter, and everybody just goes after her. So I watch out for her a little bit. She's a nice smoky gray with long, soft fur, so she's nice to hold and scratch. Okay, I'm off on a tangent. Okay, tangent over. That was your kitten commercial. Okay, so this is finding that peace. Are you finding the peace and strength of being who you are? Because if you're not being who you are, this is a time to make changes. This is a time to do a reset. So while Uranus is moving retrograde, this whole season, and I forgot to write down the ending date, but this is a time for you to do a reset and you to restart, check your journey, see where you are. If you like where you are and you're feeling like, hey, this is me being who I really am and enjoying it, then you can keep going. But if you see it's hey, there's some things I need to fix and change, perfect time to do it. The shadow is staying stuck in this past version of yourself and stubbornly sticking to it. Yeah, that's Taurus showing its face up. Or selling out, and all these battles are just going to create more personal stress, or you can just be looking for the lazy way out, whatever, and it's just not going to be fulfilling. Saturday, a little busy here, 2 transits. We have the moon entering Aquarius, setting us up for the eclipse that's coming up on Sunday, which I will not see. Emotionally is time for a little freedom, a time for a little individuality, time to cut loose a bit. Time to feel free and independent. Let go of what you feel is holding you down, holding you back, stepping onto your own path. Time for you to emotionally, you feel it's time to march to the beat of your own accordion. And shadow here is acting up, selling out, and just being someone that you're not comes across as fake to everyone. And also on Saturday, Venus enters Leo. And like we said, Venus represents relationships. So it's really willing to stand up and being seen in public. That's what Leo wants, is to stand up, be seen so he can be appreciated. But it's learning to be seen publicly, Venus relationships. So opening up the door to making new friends and new connections. Also, Venus covers the arts and music. And I do want to keep those, mention both, because when I say just the arts, people think of drawing, painting, sculpture, stuff like that. Music is part of the arts. So playing instruments, singing, etc. So it's learning to stand up and share those gifts with the world as well. Time to stand up and be seen, share that personality, and attract attention appropriately when needed. And learn how to respond to others when they approach to you and accept the appreciation that they can give you. The shadow here is playing up vanity or that false ego in desperation for attention, or trying to manipulate or control others. This is I hate to say it, this is that drama queen on center stage. Others trying to hide away from others. I don't want my gifts to be seen. I don't want my talents to be seen. I do not want others to see me, and it's trying to hide away. And it comes across as shallow. Either one comes across as shallow, superficial, and immature. Okay, cut it out. Hold on a second. Man, these guys got to leave this little kitten alone. Sorry about that. A second kitten commercial. And I'm just going to hold on to you. You're just going to stay here. Little, little Smoky. There you go. All right. I'm just going to hang on to her. They're picking on her pretty fierce tonight. Okay, here we go. And on Sunday, it starts 11 o'clock-ish, 11:30-ish in the morning almost, exact at 2:30 in the afternoon. It ends just before 5 o'clock. We will have a lunar eclipse. Yeah. So what is this? What makes an eclipse? It's when the sun and the moon are conjunct the nodes. And a lunar eclipse is when it happens on a full moon. So the sun will be conjunct the south node and the moon will be conjunct the north node. Excuse me. Yeah. Unfortunately, those of us in the Eastern time zone here in the United States, we're probably not going to see this. And what's going to happen here is, and it's possible because of this, to feel cut off from your destiny for a moment. And to feel cut off from your soul for a little bit as well. And all this stupid, pointless drama of the past. Anytime I'm reading a planet conjunct the south node, we're always looking at the shadow of the past, the failures of the past, the pointless, how you hold yourself back, and how your ego holds itself back with pointless, useless drama. And it can feel cut off from you being who you really are. And what do I have written here? Because I wrote this down. This just started hitting me, and I just wrote it down. So I'm just going to read what I got here. Reflect on the habits and patterns of the ego that can hold you back from seeing who you are authentically at the soul level. Look to see how childish egocentricity and pointless drama can interfere with the honest expression of the soul. And usually this is a time of reflection. So that's what you're doing. Is reflecting how this childish egotistical self is not the authentic you. Now, I do want to point out, if I were using a wider orb, if somebody's birth was born at this time, we would have, let me get my doodle tool here, Jupiter in that sextile and trine. So this transit, this eclipse, is providing an opportunity for you to learn. And you'll be able to see that. That's why I put that in there. I used yellow because Jupiter is yellow, but point. So this is an opportunity for you to see, hey, this is how I hold myself back with pointless drama and keep myself from being my authentic self. However, dramatizing the false ego creates a struggle between what is real and what is fake within yourself. And this power struggle can pull the soul and the ego out of balance and lead to a collision between the perceptions of the past and your destiny or purpose in life. Literally, this is your life getting way out of balance and you becoming somebody who you are not. And this creates it's feeding off of a crisis of confidence, literally. So let me clear that out. Clear all guys. No. You got to be careful. They beat up on you, and I'm not going to have that done anymore while I'm doing this reading. Okay. Like this. Okay. And late on Sunday evening. Okay, you want to go down? I'll let you down. Late on Sunday evening, whoops, sorry. We have the moon entering Pisces, so it's time to chill out. And because this is a waning moon, we're releasing. So you're learning to release what's no longer inspiring for you. And this opens the door for you to find what is. So this waning cycle is a little time of emotional house cleaning. What's no longer inspiring to you? Let it go. so that you can open up to what is and seek a fresh vision for your life at this time. The shadow is numbing yourself to the pain and emptiness of life and trying to withdraw from it. And you can feel like you're drifting and along alone and empty. And those are our transits for the week. I do want to talk a little bit about this on the 27th. This is a free conference via Zoom. All you got to do is register. And it's the first annual Sidereal Astrology Conference. There'll be panel discussions on the moon, house systems, and something else I can't remember off the top of my head, but there'll be some panel discussions. So I've got some great presenters. Athen Shimenti, who is kind of one of the forefathers or grandfathers, I would say, of the 13 of the 13 sign movement. If you want to learn, Athen's great. He's got a great course for you to learn 13 sign astrology. Gary O'Toole, this is really cool. Gary O'Toole's a Vedic astrologist. We're going to have Western astrology, Vedic astrology, and Abigail Quinn is going to be speaking about Mesopotamian and Babylonian astrology. So we're really going to get a wide variety of traditions. Dr. Danny Inman's going to be presenting as well. So it's really cool. Register. It's free. Panel discussions, live Q&A where you'll be able to ask the panelists questions and get answers, and there are giveaways as well. And if you happen to like this, do follow me on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. I do what I call daily deep dives, where I do a little bit of an exploration. That's also available on my blog, on my website at the blog post. I'm on YouTube. You like this? Hey, follow me. Appreciate it. These three play sites are making billions of dollars off of your data, and you're really not getting that much of it. Digital Soul Space, your data is your data. It's hosted by Mighty Network, hosted on Mighty Network, so you control how your data is used, but it's never linked to you, which is really cool. They're having a free and a paid version that's going to be coming up in October. So if you jump on now, you get the free version permanently. So go there. I do astrology. There's other astrologers on there. There are people who do, if you like crystals, if you're into tarot or oracle decks or different spiritual traditions and you got questions and you want to learn, or law of attraction, this is a place to go ask questions and people will answer. And it's really cool, really fun. I am a member of the ISAA. I'm still learning what I have to offer with that. On my own site, Freedom Through Astrology, my internet's been a little wonky here because Verizon's doing some upgrades to the towers. Otherwise, I jump on it. But I do order a quick 6. If you want to see how your chart is different, this gives you 6 key points and helps lay a foundation. I do full birth or natal chart reading, which is your life's contract, who you came here to become. I also do a karmic or a past life reading, depending on what you believe. There are some people who believe one and done. Well, this is a special lesson. However, some people believe that in past lives, and this is trauma or karma that was created in a past life that you came here to heal. I tell you what that trauma is, how it was created, what the archetype is, how it shows up in this lifetime, and then how you can heal it. And then why we follow astrology, horoscopes, what's really going on. And I do 1 year, 3 months, and 1 month. This is any 12 months in a row, any 3 months in a row, or any 1 month. Some people like first to the end of the month. Others like new moon to new moon. Your choice. I do both. And I have packages that combine these all together on different levels and have a 10% discount built in. So thank you very much for watching this. I hope you liked it. Do like, follow, share, ask questions. I will answer. If you go to my website, you'll get a pop-up for asking for a newsletter. All I need is an email address. If you X'd out of that pop-up, up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a square that says subscribe, black. Click on that. All I need is the email address. You get a once a week email with insights, etc. So there, and remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Have the best week possible.